All right, good morning and happy Monday, folks. Jordan Matchett here. I got a reaction video here today by a gentleman named Nathan Zed on YouTube. I've seen this gentleman's content a couple times. I find that he is very thoughtful and he has really good takes on things. And I also find it to be fairly relevant, probably because we're around the same age. Probably just because we live in the same world. And speaking of which, I hope that everything is going well in your world over there. It's a Monday. It is it's Monday morning, March 3rd, and it is every bit of a March day over here in British Columbia, Canada. And I hope that wherever you guys are, things are going well. There was an earthquake here last night, which was pretty scary. That woke me up. It lasted about 5 seconds. Nothing broke. My guitars are fine, which is the main thing. But aside from that, yeah, that's probably like the second one in like 3 weeks now. So yeah, that's pretty much what's happening. But again, we're watching we're doing a react today of a Nathan Zed video. So go check him out on YouTube. It's a really insightful one. He's got some really great takes on a plethora of different things. But this one caught me because it's titled "How Trying Became Cool Again," and I thought that as a musician, this kind of hits home on a number of different levels, and thought that we would take a listen and just do the react, the classic YouTube react. So let's just get right into it. Thank you guys for popping in today, if you guys are with me, and thank you for checking out this video in advance. Love you. Let's get into it.
Wow, yeah, this is the most try-hard intro of all time. Just started like everyone else in front of a microphone, man. Okay, yeah, that's better. About a month ago, an artist named Doechii went viral for her talk show performance. This set had her and two other girls with elaborate hair, choreography, rapping really well. And the biggest tweet that came from this was, "Making those Harriet Tubman music is the cheat code for getting respected in rap." Now, this is an amazing tweet. This is just an amazing combination of words. This random assortment of words specifically chosen to piss people off. I gotta give it to you. This is a work of art. But this is part of an attitude that has been around for a while now. Don't do too much. This performance had nothing to do with politics, Harriet Tubman, slavery, nothing. She kind of just assumed that from the amount of effort that was being put in. Over time, it has become uncool to just try, like just to put in some effort. Don't do too much, okay? It's embarrassing. Just be nonchalant, be cool, be effortless. This has made everything boring. Everyone is too scared to try because that would be vulnerable. And I feel like only now are we seeing a shift back to people putting in effort and being rewarded for it. But more on that later. How did we even get here in the first place? Because it wasn't always like this.
The death of effort, man. As a musician, I feel like you're always putting in a level of effort, but I think that I don't want to say that folk music kind of destroyed it, but I feel like back in like the 2010 era, the minimalism, the goche, that kind of stuff, it's weird because there was a lot of minimalist stuff like goche, but then you'd have like these folk bands that sound like full orchestras, like Fleet Foxes, that had the aesthetic of like tight jeans that are ripped with like a beanie that I stole from my dad's closet whenever I was 13, that I still have today, with like the music of like the fucking Grand Symphony or something like that. And it was very, very confusing, but I think that probably that section of music in the early 2010s kind of perpetuated this level of nonchalant, no care kind of deal music, or aesthetic as well.
Mozart, Michelangelo, the Hawk Tour girl. Every generation has their greats, but it feels like over time we're giving people more credit for being nonchalant than for doing things well. Like, just imagine if the Talk Tour podcast was created in the Byzantine Empire. We're holding her back. It's crazy to see this contrast between the last 10 years and then the last like 100 to 1,000 years.
I think if history right now in about 10 years will tell us anything, is that nobody was holding Hawk Tour girl back. She literally destroyed herself.
Years. Even just the 2000s. The 2000s were the definition of not being afraid to do the most. Loud, maximalist, unapologetic self-expression. Everything
I think that was like the death. I think like this was like the last era of like PC culture, really, like of like anti PC culture. You had like movies like Scary Movie that were coming out. You had crazy ass looking bands like My Chemical Romance that were coming on the scene. Not to mention you had people that were like looking like a David Copperfield tribute band. I'm talking to you, or not My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco. And then you had like the real life X-Men and Fall Out Boy. Um, there's like a lot of self-expression. People could do whatever they wanted. Uh, I mean, think about mental health back then. Who was advocating for mental health? Linkin Park. That was literally the only band that was like, people were going crazy with self-expressionism back then. People were wearing like the redneck kids would pretend that they were Ashton Kutcher on MTV. It's legit that level of insanity back then. But also people felt like they could do what they wanted. Probably because there was no phones back then, or there was no not a lot of eyeballs probably.
Is in your face, over the top, colorful, has personality. Bro,
True.
even things that
All these
were
things.
corporate didn't feel soulless or generic. Things were allowed to be.
That's an iPhone commercial that actually probably didn't use a band's. I mean, maybe they did, but I feel like that was probably before the era where Apple was buying mainstream hits or making mainstream bands by using their hits. I remember there was like a female Yal Name, I think. Yal Name, her big hit was on an iPhone. Like I don't even know how the hell I just remembered that name, Nal Yame. But I'm pretty sure that she was in an Apple commercial, and that like exploded her career.
Be weird or cringe. The internet was
enough so where almost a decade or more than a decade probably later, I remember Yal Name.
the Wild West, man. You know, before everything became content, you could create whatever you wanted. You could do whatever you wanted. It was a little too much. You might have had to reel it in. And we did. Because suddenly in the mid-2010s, everything shifted. And I don't know when exactly this was. I remember the exact moment I noticed it, and that was in 2016 when the Life of Pablo album cover came out, and I was like,
okay,
so this is where we're at now. You didn't even try. And that was the...
No, go back to that. Let's go. Oh, that is a doozy of an album cover, folks. That is a real doozy. And, I mean, let's dissect it here. We got, I mean, this is if I was drunk on Canva. This is legitimately the product of what I would be putting out. So we have The Life of Pablo, and I'm assuming which one is the name of the album. I feel like, is he doing like a really crazy poll? Because I probably would have found a better place for the family photo than this. Is just, it makes no sense. That doesn't make any sense. Whether you even want to call this minimalism, that's questionable. And if you want to call this not caring, then that's fine. But this is not minimal effort going the full way.
I was like, so this is where we're at now. You didn't even try. And that was the aesthetic. The whole deal in the mid-2010s was trying to look effortless, which is an oxymoron in itself. And you're an oxymoron if you tried it. Everything was redesigned to look more simple.
I do remember
AKA
this. Everything was getting
boring,
redesigned.
bruh. Just straight up soulless. It's the same monotonous, no personality vibe. In the last 10 years, every movie started looking dim, dark, flat. Every movie has that Netflix look, bruh. In relationships, we became so detached. Everyone became so nonchalant. Dating now is a competition of who can care less the most. It's also why you're in your 8th situationship in the last 12 months. I'm not hating, I'm just noticing. Every day, another tweet goes viral about how we gotta bring back real yearning.
Okay, I need to hear this again.
Flat. Every movie has that Netflix look, bruh. In relationships, we became so detached. Everyone became so nonchalant.
I think the nonchalantness came, I mean, we can all just go, the elephant in the room, and that everybody's going to say, well, technology and the cell phone perpetuated all this. And obviously there's a level to this, but we're also humans and have this thing called a brain, and free will and choice. And I definitely can say that, you know, technology does influence our decisions. There's no questions about that. And obviously, from what we're hearing here, it's gone to the level that it's infested how we communicate and how we love one another, or how at least we choose to love one another. that I think that needs to be said. I just want to hear what he's saying about this again, because I think that this relationship thing is just so important.
In relationships, we became so detached. Everyone became so nonchalant. Dating now is a competition of who can care less the most. It's also why you're in your 8th situationship in the last 12 months. I'm not hating, I'm just
Who can care less the most? Whew. That is a big one. Just for the back again. Just for the back.
Who can care less the most?
Whoa. It's actually like, it's more powerful the more you hear it, I think.
Dating now is a competition of who can care less the most. It's all.
Wow. That's just like a big smack in the face, because we live in an age where we're all just right after like what's going on in here and up here. And it's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like we don't want each other to do well, even if we are in this together, which is so crazy.
Also why you're in your 8th situationship in the last 12 months. I'm not hating, I'm just noticing. Every day another tweet goes viral about how we gotta bring back real yearning. Where are the real yearners at? We gotta bring back.
Okay, so it makes sense to me why he would put up some clips of Asian soap opera, mostly because there's a lot of expressionism in these operas. There's a lot of overacting or overreacting kind of thing when it comes to like love and romantic situations. So this is like a shoe-in, and obviously there's a huge trend in like Western culture of people that specifically in the West watch these soap operas, and I am assuming it's not because of the overreacting. I'm sure it's because that there's some level of what we're seeing here, this amount of yearning, or this amount of perpetuating love or feelings that are of love, that we obviously are not seeing in our media here in the West.
Another tweet goes viral about how we gotta bring back real yearning. Where are the real yearners at? We gotta bring back that level of Oh, that was mine, okay. That sentiment has been around for a while. We miss actually feeling like we can put ourselves out there. But the thing is, nobody wants to be seen as a try-hard.
Yeah, and I mean, like, why would we want to... I'm trying to think of, like... I suppose as a musician, people can often get labeled and guilted into feeling like that they are too a tryhard. But like, really, what's the definition of a tryhard? I would much rather be somebody who that actually tried and gave an effort into the function and task of trying, than be somebody who's just going to be lazy or rely on nepotism or some sort of social benefit. I'd much rather be known for my I'd rather be known for the meritocracy that my skill represents, than a social credit that I can just hand in. Doesn't that make sense? Isn't that what hard work? I mean, isn't that the difference between a house that's built well and a house that isn't built well? Is the fact that somebody actually gave a shit from the beginning and continued to give a shit till the end? Doesn't that make sense? So what is a try? Like, for me as a musician, people get guilted in because, that they work too hard, or that they're always busy and that they can't put time aside for friends or something like that. I don't think people really understand how much like time goes into, and the fact that we are just one person a lot of the time. Like, for me as an indie artist, I have select amount of time because I have so much stuff to do that revolves around my music that isn't even songwriting or even performing. It's the logistics of everything else like that. Whether it's building a presence or building a brand or having to make your own posters or having to delegate other people for a performance. Yeah, it's a lot. So I think that it's very easy for us to get labeled into this try-hard category when we're simply just doing our job. And I think that a lot of lazy people have been perpetuated by this anti-try-hard or this anti-try, like, I call it a meme more or less, because it's like, how is anything gonna get fucking done?
And it's like the only insult that could also be a motivational quote. It's like if I called you a keep going, don't stop, you got this. Look at this don't stop right here, bro. Look at this don't.
Like, this can't stop, won't stop. That meme didn't come from hard work. That is not a hard work labor meme. That is like, I can't stop, won't stop. Like, that's a gym rat thing, but I really think that it got turned into like the party it got definitely turned into like this party, like bro culture kind of deal, just by being associated with the fucking gym.
Stop. Look what he's doing. He's not stopping, bro. What is he? But I think there's a difference between trying hard because you want to and trying hard to impress other people. We had social media for a while, but it's only recent.
Also, does anybody ever kind of like get the association that tryhards have become associated with the word troll at all? I think that there's definitely a connotation there to be had.
Where it feels like everyone is looking at them. So everyone's standing up straight, trying to be perfect. All eyes are on you. That's why every party looks like this now, where everyone's afraid to move at all. Instagram feels like LinkedIn, curating the literal peaks of your life to share. We're trying to understand this new landscape where anyone can be made fun of for doing anything. You can be minding your business in public, you do something a little bit off, and now, yeah, you check Twitter, that video is on friggin' 8 million people's timelines, and you're getting cooked. So the last thing you want is to be seen trying or failing at something. Everyone is walking on eggshells.
Yeah, 100%. 100% people are walking on eggshells because for so long it's been like uncool to actually give a shit about anything really, and that blows my mind wide open all the time. Again, how does anything get done? Well, first somebody has to like do something. Well, where is the morale coming from that? Well, the hard work is the morale, really. And then the difference between, again, a house being built well and a house being not built well is that the house that is being built well, somebody started to build the house with an intention, and they continue to work on it with the same intention that they began. They did not falter, that like there was no stopping, you know what I mean? Whereas the bad built house, somebody was like, I'm going to build a house and it just needs to be 4 fucking walls. And there's no insulation in that house. The electrical is fucked, because nobody gave a shit about building something that is structurally sound. And it's the same thing with music. It's been the same thing with art. And honestly, it's been the same thing with fucking fashion. Like, look at the shoes that are coming out that has been like influenced by Yeezys. We're talking about putting a piece of cloth on our fucking feet instead of something that's actually like structurally sound. Like, go, you know, this is wild stuff. People have absolutely stopped caring for quite a while. And I definitely feel, just going back to Nathan Zed here.
Press other people. We had social media for a while, but it's only recently where it feels like everyone feels like
that they all, like the all eyes on me, Tupac, like that's a whole theme today. And it's another reason why, like, as a musician and as like in country music, all we're hearing about is posh and like polished stuff. We're not hearing about any outlaw shit. We're not hearing about anybody getting into a bar brawl or anything like that. Why? That's actually what kind of made some music cool. Like, whenever I was like a White Stripes fan back in my teenage years, you would hear that Jack White would get into a fight with like the lead singer from the Von Bondies at like a Detroit bar. And as a kid, you're thinking, that is fucking cool. Is violence cool? No. Is it kind of cool to hear that like these heroes and that these people that we hold on high have these kind of real world situations happen to them? Yeah, because it humanizes them for us. It actually lets us connect to them more, because it's like, man, maybe Jack was having a bad day. Maybe this guy from the Von Bondies was talking shit about hardest button to button. Who fucking knows, right? But at the end of the day, we're not seeing these kinds of situations anymore because of this all eyes on us social media game. And even as like a musician who like goes out and sometimes like likes to see pleasures of the night and likes to go to a party once in a while and have a few drinks and blow off steam after a show, there's no fucking phones. Like, there's a reason why this is becoming a thing, is because there's too many snitches and there's too many rats as well out there. And people are irresponsible with their phones, and people are irresponsible with people's lives.
Like, everyone is looking at them. So everyone's standing up straight, trying to be perfect. All eyes are on you. That's why every party looks like this now, where everyone's afraid to move at all. Instagram feels like LinkedIn, curating the...
Yeah, man. It absolutely does feel like LinkedIn. It's... I mean, I don't know how much, like... I remember like in like 2010s as a salesperson, networking was like the huge thing, and like going to like a Chamber of Commerce event was essentially like this. It was like going to a party where there would be alcohol at the function, not the intention of getting like lit up or anything like that, but it's essentially like a big room of LinkedIn You know, and it's kind of gross, and people aren't acting themselves because they're essentially they're cosplaying LinkedIn online. So they're pretending that they're online in a fucking room. It's crazy.
Literal peaks of your life.
And then on top of that, they do not try. They're just like, this is who I am. Everybody has a card ready in their pocket. But despite being around these people for maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours on a night at a chamber social, like, networking kind of thing, people are still not themselves. People are still not really giving their full effort. Nobody's really showing their full hand because it's uncool. Why would I do that? Why would I be transparent with you? The answer to that would be maybe because we're here to be in business together, or that potential is why we're here. Maybe that's why.
Life to share. We're trying to understand this new landscape where anyone can be made fun of for doing anything. You can be minding your business in public, you do something a little bit off, and now, yeah, you check Twitter, that video is on friggin' 8 million people's timelines, and you're getting cooked. So the last thing you want is to be seen trying or failing at something. Everyone is walking on eggshells.
Yeah, I feel like even going on and expressing an opinion today is like, whew, you better, like, you're kind of holding your legs right after you click post. And I think it's because, like, again, this whole eyes on you, people are so afraid of I feel like cancellations. I do not feel exist anymore. I think that's kind of like the pendulum has swung the other way. I don't think we're going to see too many people get canceled for a while. That said, like, people do not even want to take that risk because we've seen what has happened, and we've seen basically the pros and cons of this. Like, very few people come back or make a comeback after those kinds of tribulations happen to you. So
Artists became nonchalant.
I wouldn't want to clean
try?
that up, honestly. Even for the video content, wouldn't want to clean that up.
You'll be mocked if it doesn't sell well. In music, we traded elaborate rollouts, cool visuals for mysterious vibes, and aura. I've had enough.
Dude, oh man, he really nailed that. Yeah.
Artists became nonchalant. Why try if you'll be mocked if it doesn't sell well? In music,
Why be mocked if it doesn't sell well? Again, this is like, as a musician and as an artist, it's your art. Like, as far as like commercial success, if that's really what you're going after, buy a team that will help you accomplish that goal. But be an artist for the sake of being an artist, right? Like, I'm not just talking about Michael Jackson, but I'm just talking to the average viewer or the average musician or average songwriter. Like, yeah, do we all want to everybody has different goals, but I'm sure that some people out there want to have a set list of goals, and some of those might include, like, getting a Juno or a Grammy Award, or I want to go on a national tour or an international tour, or I want to tour Japan, whatever it might be. Like, you got to find the way to get there, right? And it is very cool to tour Japan. It is very cool. So fuck anybody who says shit to you about that.
we traded elaborate rollouts, cool visuals for mysterious vibes.
Yeah, the mysterious vibes thing, I think, is definitely, again, perpetuated by hip-hop and pop music, but mostly hip-hop, because it's cool to be mysterious, and gangsters are mysterious. Put two and two together.
An aura. I've had enough aura, all right? We get it. We don't know what you're up to. Post the dang song.
I don't think the aura thing is over yet. In fact, I think that we're just starting